You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
This is the Happy Hour Network.
Pay attention, son. This is for your own good.
This is Ray Morality, also known as Ray Ray from theNoLookPass.com. You're listening to the Earnestly Speaking podcast, where you can listen to unadulterated, uncensored, sexy, sweaty sports talk from my man EJ. Arrgh.
The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh, got my hustle on, no imitation or fad. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heartthrob in my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
All right, welcome to the Earnestly Speaking podcast. I am your host, Ernest E.J. Christian, on a very cloudy Tuesday afternoon here in South Florida. Online with me, of course, it is Tuesday. It is time for the Studio Game Report as we recap Week 13 in the NFL and look at a little news and notes going on and happenings. My man, Kyle Nash, a.k.a. the student of the game. Kyle, what's going on, man?
You know, we've been calling the Falcons frauds for weeks. At this point, they're not fraudulent. They are exactly what we know them to be. And, yeah, it's pretty clear.
You know, it's funny,
Can't say any more about that.
Yeah, and it's funny, when look, this is for the record, not to brag, because people get on me when I'm wrong. So when I'm right, I'm going to spew my anger on you. Okay, when they're 1-0, and I said they're frauds. When they're 2-0, I said they're frauds. And even when they were 5-0, I stayed consistent, even though I thought maybe I could be wrong here for a second. 5-0 is 5-0, but I still stuck to my fraud, and they're still frauds. They're now 6-6. The playoffs started today. Danny Thompson, they're out of the playoffs. Just saying.
Hey, man, I was even more harsh than you. I was questioning why you even had them in your top 10,
dude,
despite 5-0.
Well, bear in mind, Kyle, it took actually 3 weeks for them to get my top 10. At some point, the record had to mean something, you know. But even when I gave them the top 10 ranking, they weren't getting a lot of respect from me.
Oh yeah, and oh no, I'm not. I'm just saying I was a bigger hater than you were. That's all I'm saying. No, you did your thing.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even trust in top 10 even at 5-0. I'm just saying.
Well, let's just call it what it is. We knew what they were, and we warned you guys who they were, and what they were, and who they are is what it is. So
what we thought they were. Yeah.
Thank you, Denny Green. Okay, so I got this piece of news today, and you know, for weeks we've been speaking about the Carolina Panthers. By the way, Panthers 12-0, Cam Newton MVP, yes, 12-0. But yet they're not getting respect. You know, at least it seems that way. Well, that has now changed as of this morning. So according to some sources here, the Las Vegas has now put the Panthers as the favorites to win Super Bowl 50.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Kyle, how do you feel about that?
I mean, first of all, you know, I'm going to have to go die hard here. Welcome to the party, pal. We've been trying to tell you about the Panthers for a while with Cam Newton. But, I mean, in making the Super Bowl, okay, I'm with that. I don't know that I would sign off on them winning the Super Bowl today simply because of a lack of offense. Yeah, that's right. I said it because, let's be honest, if Cam Newton has a bad day running the football, if for whatever day of reason a couple mistakes are made, they're not going to be in a position to come back. And I'm willing to bet whoever is representing the AFC, you're going to be dealing with a high-powered offense. Zero margin of error for the Carolina Panthers. And let's just say, for example, if they're playing the Bengals, I don't know, I go Broncos necessarily, the Steelers, the Broncos, the Bengals, the Patriots, any of them, I think for the moment, today I'd have to pick all of them beating the Panthers in a Super Bowl matchup. But hey, we ain't there yet, and there's still a lot that can happen between then and now. And who knows? Maybe 10 Kid Jr. will actually go a game without a drop and change my mind. I'm just saying.
Yeah, although I will say, though, it is fascinating because even you and I were saying for weeks that while Carolina was unbeaten, we still said voter confidence lie with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Because better roster.
Yeah. It's a more complete team. Yes, more weapons on offense, certainly, and the defense is at least about as good. Certainly a better secondary overall, not to take anything away from Josh Norman. But the Cardinals are a more complete team, yes.
And the thing is, too, also with that, my stance, and this is not a disrespect to the Panthers at all.
Right.
I love Cam Newton. He's my second favorite player in the NFL behind Russell, Bussin, Tussin, Wilson. Okay? But I still feel like Arizona's roster could win out in the end in the NFC. That being said, it's good to see some respect being paid now to this team. 12-0 is still 12. I don't care how they got there. In the league right now where more teams are either at or below 500, 12-0 is pretty damn impressive. I don't care who you are.
Well, they have a couple tougher wins on their schedule. I mean, they did have to beat the Packers before they started to decline and fall apart. So that's a more challenging game than I would say the Patriots had to play on their schedule. And they lost to a backup quarterback in the Eagles. So there you go.
By the way, the Pats is still number 2 in that list of favorites. And I still reckon to say that as long as New England gets healthy by the time the playoffs start, even if they are a 3 seed, which we'll get to a little bit later on these topics about the seedings in both conferences, going to be about a month away from the playoffs, I still feel confident to say that Brady get the job done even on the road. But I got to ask you another question, Kyle, because all of a sudden now there's some things going on in the NFC. And, Seattle. Yeah, they're back.
Stop it.
No, Kyle, you stop it. You stop it.
No, you stop it. So they beat up a Vikings team they happen to be strong everywhere the Vikings are. I'm supposed to be impressed, okay? If it wasn't for Roland Rawls, this wouldn't even be a topic. And I know you're going to not even mention him because he's a rookie and because you're too busy riding Russell Wilson's...
Get it right. Russell, Bustlin, Tusslin. Get it right.
Where's Russell been the past 10 games? And I said 10 because last week I acknowledged that the Pittsburgh Steelers game was his best game of the year. And then he went and upgraded it to Seattle Vikings, where he had then now his best game of the year. But I'm going to ask this because Russell Wilson has still not impressed me. Both games involved quarterbacks folding, essentially. That's right. I said it. Roethlisberger folded in the Seattle game. 4 turnovers in that game. Teddy Bridgewater was awful. Russell Wilson hasn't had to win a close game.
You just can't give my man some love. That's all. You just say it.
Because he hasn't earned it. He still hasn't earned it. I ain't kissing no rings. I'm kissing Richard Sherman's ring. I'm not kissing Russell Wilson's ring. I'm kissing Cam Chancellor's ring. I'm not kissing Russell Wilson's ring. Get off me with that. Stop it. Now, being said, Seattle will make the playoffs because their remaining schedule blows.
Their hardest game is Arizona, Week 17, when Arizona, by that point, may call the dogs off, actually.
Exactly my point.
If I don't care who you are. If I'm Carolina, if I'm Arizona, I don't want to see Seattle in the playoffs because of if for anything, Kyle, the experience. They've been here before, okay? What be different? Yes, it'd be a little bit different now because most likely they'll be on the road. I don't see them catching Arizona. They're actually 3 games behind Arizona with the tiebreaker. So I don't see that happening, But I don't care who you are. this team has won some games the last couple of years in the biggest moments. You know, if for not, the experience factor's got a lot, at least with Seattle.
In the biggest moments, you're talking about after they set the orphanage on fire, they decided to save the children after they were cornered into the last room of the building. Stop it. Were you not there for the NFC Championship game? How much actually had to break Seattle's way for them to even get to the Super Bowl? And don't get me started again on Pete Carroll.
Yeah, you're so bitter about 2 years ago still, aren't you?
Wait. What do you mean bitter about 2 years ago? What does that mean?
Kyle Nash, Niner fan.
Oh, no, dude. Hey, how could I be? I'm not bitter about that. Was a good game. I still think Colin Kaepernick made the right throw. It was just late. And Richard Sherman made a good play. I didn't like watching it, but I'm not bitter about it. That was a great game to watch. Don't make me fanhood. Don't make me the guy that keeps cheering for Jay Cutler even after he loses to the 49ers with Blaine Gabbert starting. Sorry, G, I had to do it.
Ooh. And by the way, I get G on my podcast on Thursday, man. That's going to be a hell to pay there. But so Seattle's 7-5. You say, no big deal.
I do. Because they're not a disciplined enough squad on offense. But I will say this. I believe Jimmy Graham's injury is addition by subtraction. Now they don't have to worry about what to do with the kid. Now they don't have to worry about putting targets on the stat sheet. They just play Seattle football.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Luke Wilson fits that offense better than Jimmy Graham. Can we just say that right now? It is what it is.
Jimmy Graham's not a blocker. Tell me so. Yeah, this is not new. We have had this discussion, you and I both, in agreement.
Yes.
You know, the only thing at this point, it's only the degree of props Russell Wilson deserves. This is the only place that we are disparate, I think.
Kyle, say bustlin'.
Beyond that.
Hey, Kyle, say bustlin', tusslin'.
Bustlin', tusslin'? No.
Tusslin'. Damn it. You won't do it. God.
No.
All I gotta say is this: Seattle, scary. I'm gonna stick to that scary. If the O-line plays well, they have a chance. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I'm just saying this the experience. Okay, now to my neck of the woods. The Giants, same day, another day, same result. Giants blow another game. That's 5 this year. Do you understand the New York Giants can be easily 10-2 this year? 10-2.
Oh, now it's 10-2 all of a sudden because we were texting over the weekend. You said 9-3. I was Chris Rankin, a fellow Giants fan, saying 9-3. Now you're saying 10-2 all of a sudden.
I corrected myself. There's 7 losses. The only legitimate losses they had was Philly, and I'll give Washington that last week too because they're up by 20 points 1 point in that game. So I'll give them Washington that game. You're
forgetting how much help you got from the Cowboys in Week 1 with Romo. Just throwing that out there too.
We should have won that game. We should have won that game too against Romo. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's part of the whole thing. We were up the entire game, Kyle. What are you talking about? Just saying. We were up the entire game.
You should have lost to the 49ers as well, but you're not bringing that up either, I noticed.
Hence 9-3. That was hence a 9-3.
Much better. Okay,
9-3. That's my point exactly. Okay, so obviously, when something becomes a habit and a sample becomes larger, at this point it becomes who's to blame. Now the Giants have missed the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years. Okay, now the 1 year they made it, they actually won a Super Bowl. So sometimes winning a Super Bowl gives you a longer leash. That being said, is it time for Tom Coughlin to go along with Jerry Reese or slow down?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned, getting used to a culture and things like that. And here's a reason. If Tom Coughlin walks, it's because he's retiring. It's because he's playing the lethal weapon card, the Murtaugh rule, right? You get too old for this stuff.
Too old for this shit.
Exactly.
It's lethal weapon, right.
So they're not going to actually fire him because here's the thing. Every year they're talking about firing Coughlin unless it involved the Super Bowl the previous year. They from after even year 1, they were talking about kicking him into the curb again unless he won a Super Bowl the previous year. So because that talk is always, and I mean always, in the news in New York, I'm not really convinced he's going anywhere. Especially, look, I maintain, and I could be completely wrong here with what I'm saying, I maintain at the very least, though, that Coughlin is causing these players to overproduce, to do things that they would not do under another coach. You're going to try to tell me that, what, Jason Garrett is going to coach up these guys better than Tom Coughlin? You're out of